Hey everyone, and welcome back to Chew Talks. On this channel, we talk the FIRE movement, saving money, and investing money. If you have been living under a rock, you might not have heard that BTC just crossed the $24,000 mark. If you don't have crypto in your portfolio, this video may not be for you. Don't worry, as we have a lot of other finance videos, so please subscribe and click the like button below. Follow on my journey as myself and my fiance look to FIRE in the next 10 years. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is simply a guy on YouTube talking about his journey. Today, we're going to talk about two things. How much allocation of your portfolio should be in crypto? Well, there is no magic answer to that because everyone is different. You live in a different neighborhood, you have different tax laws in the state that you live in. You might be single, you might be married, you might have 4 kids, you might have 3 kids, you might have no kids. You might have to take care of your parents, you might be very aggressive, you could be very conservative, no one really knows. So how does crypto fit into the FIRE picture? In reality, it doesn't. Why is that? Is because BTC is relatively new. It doesn't have the track history of the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones. If you know anything about FIRE, it's anti-risk. It's all about safe, secure index funds. For me and my fiance, we're a little bit younger. We have a 10-year plan, but we could afford to be a little bit risky with our investments. So why am I talking about crypto, even though I'm on a FIRE journey? Personally, because I believe in progress, I believe in change, and I live in San Francisco, which is all about disruption. Is there a safe way to invest into crypto, digital currency, or BTC? And the answer is probably not. If you follow the BTC cycle, you know that it goes up and down 70%, multiple cycles throughout the last 15 years. So what makes me feel safe about investing into crypto or digital currency? And the answer is that even though as a relatively small sample size in terms of time that digital currency has been out, there has been massive, major movements into this space in the last 10 years. Less than 3 years ago, institutional players were not that heavy into digital currency. Now, if you don't know, there's a first ever ETF backed by the SEC for Bitcoin. Grayscale is a company that has created an ETF that tracks Bitcoin. You have to be a accredited investor and have a $50,000 minimum to invest into this fund. Personally, I don't qualify. I'm not an accredited investor. There's another fund called the ARKW. It's right over there. You can see the symbol is right there. You might be more familiar with ARKK, which invests into disruptive technologies through the ETF. ARKW invests a lot into cloud-based solutions and Grayscale as well. Although ARKW doesn't invest directly into BTC, it invests into the company that invests into BTC. We'll talk a little bit about ARKK and ARKW in a bit. Now to the juicy part. How do I figure out my allocation for crypto? To figure out my allocations for cryptocurrency, I need to open up my portfolio. Let's take a look. I started my FIRE journey relatively late. It's actually only been year 1 this last year in 2020. You know what's funny though, is that this might be the best year to start in FIRE because stocks have just gone through the roof. There's so many different types of FIRE. There's fat FIRE, there's slim FIRE. There's probably should be a cryptocurrency FIRE now. But because there isn't one, I will talk a little bit about it today. Personally, for me and my fiance, we're going to do a little bit more aggressive FIRE journey. There's the 80-20, 70-30, 60-40, depending on where you're at in your life. There's also the 100% stock allocation FIRE movement. There's a very famous couple that does 100% stock allocation for the FIRE movement, and that is Our Rich Journey. Check them out. Me and my fiance has also adopted the 100% stock allocation FIRE plan. Originally, I was 80-20, then I slowly transitioned to 95-5. Now I'm definitely going towards the 100% allocation route. It works for us, it creates less drag, and for opportunities like this, we can have a little bit more flexibility in our investments. Let's take a look at my current allocations. On a high level, I invest into 4 things right now: real estate, 401k and Roth, savings, and my crypto. However, I invested into cryptocurrency before I started the FIRE journey. So I haven't dollar cost averaged or bought any cryptocurrency since I started my FIRE journey, which is year 2020. Looking at these numbers, I still haven't figured out what the growth is yet for 2020. Follow along and I'll put that in my next video. Really quickly, I'm gonna dive into each asset class and explain what I have there. In real estate, I'm very lucky. I invest into my friends' syndications out in Ohio, Cincinnati to be specific. I got very lucky. This is a personal friend of over, I think 12 years now. It's been a very long time. I've also did my due diligence. I've flown out there, I walked the properties, and met the partners as well. You can read any spreadsheet out there on the planet and it can all be a lie with one change of the number. So it's very important to look at track record. And luckily for me in real estate, I've had pretty good success with the syndication. That's why a majority of my investments right now is within real estate. Next up, we have my 401k and Roth. I maxed out my contributions into my 401k and Roth this year, and it reached close to, I think, 30,000. 11,000 was from previous year, so this year alone was about 30,000 for 401ks and Roths. I'm not going to do a deep dive into the funds I held inside those retirement accounts. I'll do that on another video. Just know that they're primarily stock allocations, and there's some bond allocations that I'm going to slowly reallocate back over to stocks. I have some cash savings, however, that's my emergency fund. That's also taxes that I will have to pay on my S Corp. Yes, I know that inflation will crush my savings, however, I need that to pay for taxes. Should I move my emergency fund into cryptocurrency? I'm going to think about it. And lastly, we have cryptocurrency, which is about 13% of my overall investment allocation. Now, how I calculate my personal allocations should not be the way that you calculate yours. Talk to a financial advisor, talk to your spouse, talk to your parents to figure that out. I'm personally giving you insight into my journey, and I'm just talking through this. I could be completely wrong here. However, as I look at my overall portfolio, how much am I willing to risk on cryptocurrency? Because there is a chance that it can go to zero. How, you might ask? Well, Elon Musk said a solar flare can take it all out. A solar flare would take out all technology, but wouldn't we just reboot back up? I don't know. I don't know much about solar flare. Maybe solar flares turns everything that's technological into a crisp. I have no idea. Personally, I feel comfortable with about 10% allocated towards cryptocurrency. If you look at my pie chart, that's a little bit higher than what I would like right now. Now that we have the 10% decided, where do I want 90% of my FIRE portfolio allocated to? Well, for most FIRE people, it's 100% into the stocks, 401k, Roth, and a brokerage. Even though it's diversified within the funds, it's not really diversified because it's still all in stocks. My real estate investments have yielded me a little bit above the average stock market return this last year. This last year on my 401k and Roth is estimated about 23% return on my money. And in real estate, it was about 30%. So it's kind of close. However, in the long run, I feel safer that real estate is gonna return a bigger amount than a stock market, which is a little bit more volatile. I don't know if we're gonna continue 23% a year for the next 10 years on the stock market. The reason my allocation is pretty big in real estate right now is because opportunities for real estate don't come up very often. They're not knocking on your door like, hey, here's a great opportunity every single month that you could dollar cost average into real estate. No, opportunities come far and few between, probably like one a year, maybe one every 2 years. So when the opportunity presents itself, I go in a little bit heavy. I have some cash reserves reserved for that. If you follow my journey, my 401k and Roth will probably reallocate to about 40% naturally, just through maximizing my 401k and Roth. To me, whether 401k or real estate is a bigger allocation in my portfolio doesn't matter. They can race each other. I don't really care. If my assets in the retirement funds beat my real estate, great. If my real estate beats my retirement funds, even better. What's important is that they're about 90% of my allocation. I'm probably gonna have to fix this pie chart because savings is not really an investment. It's more of a cash cushion emergency fund type of thing for taxes and things like that. I probably have to remove that out of the equation to get a better look at this chart. Okay, there we go. Now we have a better picture of how much additional money I should put into cryptocurrency, if any. And looking at this on a high level, the answer is none. My allocations are perfect where they are for 2020. What I'm gonna do really quickly is type in some numbers to see what my allocation should look like at the end of 2021 and see if I have any room to invest in anything else. Let's do a quick calculation. All right, I just forecasted my maximum contributions to my retirement account, and that brings us to about 37%, and then down real estate 51%, and crypto down again 12%. Looking at this pie chart, I am fine with my cryptocurrency allocation as it is right now. If I personally want to get my feet wet in the space a little bit more, or just experience some of the thrill, I could invest into ARK-K, which invests into Grayscale. Now, it doesn't specifically invest into cryptocurrency. However, it'll be fun to track within my portfolio. Overall, for 2020, it doesn't look like I have to invest any more into cryptocurrency. However, in 2021, I might have a different tune. I'm going to relook at everything I've done in 2020 and see if there is room to dollar cost average into cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or Ethereum. How did I arrive at feeling safe with my 10% allocation to cryptocurrency? Personally, for me, first off, I'm 100% into stocks and equities. What does it mean for my 10-year plan if something really bad happens at year 9, year 10, where I want to retire? That just means I need to push back my FIRE journey maybe another 4 or 5 years. Being young, I can do that. That wouldn't upset me at all. If I can survive a 4 or 5 year correction, or similarly to what we're going through now, which is not really a correction, it actually went up in 2020, then 10% to me, even if going to zero, doesn't affect my overall portfolio or goals that much. Do I want to lose 10%? No, of course it will delay my goal and timeline of my FIRE journey. However, cryptocurrency going to zero, although could happen, might not happen. All right, guys, that's it for today's True Talks. Let me know what you're doing. What's your cryptocurrency allocations? What is your FIRE journey timeline and breakdowns? Once again, if you haven't subscribed or liked this video, please do so. I'm going to keep these videos coming for you. I'll see you next week. Peace.